29 consecutive scoreless innings. 3 straight shutout losses. 5 runs in the last 58 innings pitched. 5-game losing streak. When I start this podcast today, I don't intend for it to be very long. For those of you that listen to the Tuesday podcast, you're going to hear a lot of the same things, and I just don't feel like repeating myself. I don't think that's going to be valuable for anybody's time. This is one of the worst offensive stretches of Yankees baseball in decades, and I think if you've watched the Yes broadcast, you got all that information from Michael Kay. I will not sit and repeat that. This is really rough, and I'm trying very hard not to, I don't want to say panic. I'm trying very hard not to lose it. Because even contextually, the Yankees are still in first place, although it's now a razor-thin margin between them and the Rays. Just a week ago, the Yankees led baseball in pretty much every major hitting category statistically, and were second in batting average behind the Dodgers. So I want to try in a marathon of a season that is baseball to not lose it over, I won't even call it a bad week. It's a terrible week. But it's concerning. It's troublesome that the offense has been this bad lately. Sure, there were times earlier in the season where you expected guys like Trent Grisham or even Paul Goldschmidt to a certain extent to kind of regress to the mean a little bit. And that has happened. I know we've been waiting for guys like Austin Wells, Anthony Volpe, Jason Dominguez to carry their weight offensively, and at times that they have, and at times they've completely disappeared. Obviously, Judge is struggling right now, and this is his worst stretch of the season, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Yankees need more from Aaron Judge. The Yankees have gotten every ounce and more. Aaron Judge is still on pace to have one of the greatest hitting seasons of all time, despite his rough stretch lately. Pretty much his rough stretch since that home run off of Crochet in the 9th. But Stanton's looked good, which credit to him, back-to-back 2-hit games here since coming off the IL. But it's difficult to figure out what this team needs to do. Because, by the way, I guess on the other side of the coin, and I mentioned it on yesterday's show, I'll mention it again here, because there is a little bit of a silver lining to this gray cloud, and that's the fact that the pitching staff has still been very good. Their ERA in this 6-game stretch where they're 1-5, their team ERA is just over 2. I believe it's like 2.1 something, which is obviously very good. Now, it sucks that you've gone 1-5 in that stretch with a team ERA like that, but it's not like the entire team is in complete disarray and there's no hope. But this offense has to be better. And the quality of the at-bats at times have been poor. There have been some decent at-bats, and again, you think back to a couple opportunities in the 9th inning and in extra innings in the first game of the Angels series, the Paul Goldschmidt fly out to deep center, the Cody Bellinger fly out to deep right, and think, those balls go a couple feet further. We're having different conversations in general. But the Yankees, their at-bats are getting progressively worse, and you're starting to see the impact of this offensive slump affect this team. And you're starting to see bad at-bats. You're starting to see some bad at-bats from Judge. Thought his last at-bat of this game on Tuesday night was pretty poor. You're starting to see the pressure of this losing streak, but the pressure of this offensive nightmare starting to get to guys. And Aaron Boone changed up the lineup fairly significantly. Jason Dominguez led off, and it was Trent Grisham and Ben Rice that were the two that sat in this rotation that they're going to be working through with Stanton back. But they're just not getting enough from everybody right now. And they're not stringing hits together. They're not consistently getting on base. It's been different types of pitchers. It's been flamethrowers. It's been more. Kyle Hendricks is more of a soft tossing precision type of a pitcher. He's not Garrett Crochet. It's just a tough scene for this Yankees offense right now, and they've got to get it fixed soon. And obviously, you're saying, yeah, no, you know what, you got to get it fixed, but you can start to see the signs of a spiral happening. That can very much happen in baseball, where things are not going right and those issues compound on each other. This game was the first time where I really felt like I saw the signs of a spiral. Like, they've had some bad luck. They've had some good at-bats, bad at-bats, different things in the 4 losses prior to this. But this game here on Tuesday night was the first time I sat there and I watched and I went, the cumulative effect of what has happened over the last few days is impacting the way they are playing baseball right now. And everybody is pressing at the plate. You're seeing some mistakes in the field. This has got to get solved quickly. And it's got to get solved offensively. You need, again, you'll take a 1-0 victory if it were to happen tomorrow, or I guess later today as you're listening to this, 7:05 again start time. But you need some runs. Like, you desperately. I would honestly take an 8-7 victory over a 1-0 victory right now. And I know you're splitting hairs, all that other fun stuff, but you need to get this offense. You need a victory. Let's just get that out of the way. However you get it, you get it. I'm not going to complain. But a victory with a little bit of offense will go a long way into solving this problem. And if they have another slow start to the game tonight, you're going to start to see the at-bats get progressively worse, second, third, and fourth time up for guys. And we saw it on Tuesday. I'm afraid we're going to see it on Wednesday if things don't get off to a good start. All right, well, I would like to talk about Will Warren. I'd like to talk about Clark Schmidt. I'd like to talk about Max Fried. I'd like to talk about Carlos. I'd like to talk about all these guys. And, I just don't feel like anybody wants to sit here and talk about Will Warren right now. And it's not that Will Warren had a phenomenal start by any means, but, 6 innings, 3 runs, 11 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. Solid effort, but nobody cares because the offense is so anemic. Nobody cares. So hopefully I'll have a different tone when I talk to you all again here tomorrow, but right now, I'm just probably like you, trying my best to put it in perspective, but also trying my best just not to lose it.